Hello and welcome to another edition of Son of Kaiju Review. I'm Protomet.
I'm Tane.
And today we will be talking about a movie that we've already done a video on. Godzilla vs. Mothra, The Battle for Earth. If you're wondering why we're doing a podcast on the movie we've already talked about, it's because that one got claimed.
Yep, so we're redoing it.
It's not blocked worldwide, but a good chunk of people probably can't see it.
Well, I think they'll be able to hear this one.
Meteor!
Hits Godzilla in the water.
And he's all like, ow.
Jackass. You jerk.
But more importantly, there's a bit of a landslide.
And Mothra egg.
So we cut right Indiana Jones.
Bootleg.
Who winds up getting arrested.
Yeah, then his, I'm guessing, ex-wife?
His ex-wife, her boss, and some guy who works for a company come to basically offer him a job to help guide them across this island to try and find this giant egg that's emerged.
And he refuses. He goes back into his jail cell.
Because he thinks that he's going to get released in a couple days, but
he's getting about 7 years in prison.
Because of theft of artifacts, destruction of historical sites. He's facing quite a bit of jail time.
Yep.
Which forced him to quickly reconsider.
He's like, alright, I'll do it.
We get a bit of a jaunt through the jungle to try and find this egg.
They are crossing a bridge that cannot handle all their weight, so it snaps, and
they all fall into the river below, but they live.
His ex-wife blames him for the bridge breaking, and she ends up falling into the water first, and then their other associate guy falls into the water, and the explorer one just kind of jumps in because the bridge is breaking more.
As it turns out, this is actually wound up being a shortcut to where they were heading in the first place.
Yep.
Much to the consternation of the wife and the corporate guy. Meanwhile, Godzilla is still around.
He's just chilling, doing damage. No.
But the explorers find the egg.
They do. The explorer kind of scrapes a little piece off, and he's like, it's an eggshell.
Because they don't realize it's an egg. They just found a giant, pretty stone.
Yep. It's like, oh, what?
And then the Shobijin show up. Although I can't remember if they're actually called the Shobijin in this, or if they're called something else. Because the 90s kind of got weird with what they were called.
They were the Cosmos.
Maybe.
Or they could just been the Twin Fairies.
I know in the Rebirth movies they're the LAS, but I can't remember if the Cosmos were in this movie or in Godzilla or Godzilla Tokyo SOS. But yeah, not played by the Peanuts this time. Instead, played by some other ladies.
Yep.
So it's slightly less important. But you know, the Peanuts were getting on in age by the time.
Yeah.
I mean, they'd already been replaced by this point. So it's not like this is any new.
So, Batra?
They mention Batra, and Godzilla pursues the Mothra egg as they try shipping it across the sea to Tokyo, or wherever they're going.
Like, yeah, he's following it, and
Explorer guy basically cuts the egg free, which frustrates the corporate guy because now his boss is gonna be pissed.
We meet his boss later.
His boss is pissed.
No, what are you doing? He's like,
his boss is also an asshole, but
yeah,
that's a corporate bigwig for you.
Mm-hmm. Then they
the egg hatches and Mothra emerges.
Mm-hmm. This Batra shows up before Mothra hatches, right?
I think it shows up after Mothra hatches, but all three of the monsters get into a big fight.
Yeah.
And I think both Batra and Godzilla wind up falling into like a lava flow or something. And Mothra flees, I guess. Meanwhile, the Shobijin are in Tokyo now.
Mm-hmm. And so now the bigwig finally shows up, just honking his horn at a bunch of protesters, I'm guessing they were.
Yeah, because turns out this guy is not exactly eco-friendly. How little things have changed.
Nope. And like he's trying to is he the one trying to buy the Mothra egg, or
I think the company owned the island that the egg was found on, and they were planning on transporting it to Tokyo to exploit it. So technically, they already owned it, but only because it was found on the island. But yeah, no, this movie still has heavy elements of Godzilla versus Mothra, or Mothra versus Godzilla, which in turn had a lot of elements from the original Mothra. So that's, I guess, part of the reason why we're kind of rushing through the story in this. It's because this is like the fourth time we've told this story. If not the exact one.
The original one, there was a script involved.
Yeah, and this one, I'd say go watch the original video, but you probably can't. So we kind of have to make this one. And
yeah.
And we're tired, so we're kind of half-assing it.
Mothra makes her cocoon.
Not quite yet. It's the Shobijin.
Oh,
who are still in the corporate captivity.
Mm-hmm.
Sing out to Mothra, who then crosses the sea and arrives in Tokyo and starts wrecking the place.
And then they have to have the
JSDF
Yep.
show up to try and shoot it. Doesn't work. Then Mothra cocoons herself.
Then Godzilla appears.
I think at some point the tiny fairies are no longer in corporate control because Cut Rate Indiana Jones tries to sell them off to a foreign buyer. So he's stolen them. The ex-wife and their daughter
Yep.
show up at the hotel to try and convince the dad, hey, let the fairies go.
He's just trying to make a buck.
He is trying to make a buck, but he also realizes that he's being a poor role model for his daughter,
Yep.
who has already figured out that he's not a nice person,
Mm-hmm.
but she's still willing to forgive him, which, you know, there's some thematic relevance.
Yeah.
There's also a message about pollution and stuff, but kind of gets lost in the crossfire of everything that's going on.
Batra shows up,
Batra just kind of transforms into his
Imago form or whatever it's
yeah. It's like it starts off as lava and then basically digivolves into Imago, which is like, okay, since the Mothra and Batra, which are at odds in this movie, are technically related, why didn't Mothra just digivolve instead of a cocoon? I mean, I get that Mothra has a history of the cocoon.
Yeah.
And I can only assume that the writers just kind of forgot that Batra would need a cocoon.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because it's kind of a slapdash sort of, whoops.
It's like, I'm swimming. I'm swimming.
Also, Godzilla emerges from a volcano on land now, so...
Yep, he starts causing destruction. Mothra finally comes out of the cocoon to confront Godzilla.
Batra joins the fight.
Yep, and...
Eventually, both moths realize that they have to join forces to defeat Godzilla.
And they do, and...
Batra drops the Ferris wheel on him.
Yep. He stops the Ferris wheel from falling on Mothra, then picks up the Ferris wheel and... Boom! Ferris wheel on top of Godzilla.
However, Batra is injured in the fight, and as Mothra and Batra are carrying Godzilla out to sea, Batra
dies, I guess.
dies from his injuries after bleeding all over Godzilla. And Mothra lets go of Godzilla's tail, allowing both to fall into the ocean.
And then Mothra...
Way to go, Mothra! You're super helpful, just carrying the tail.
Yeah, Batra's getting bit and nailed with atomic breath that entire time. Yeah, he's just like, and just bleeding all over, yellowish colored blood, bug blood.
But then after they land in the sea, Mothra circles around them and I guess magically seals them.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, this is the only movie in the Heisei era to have some mystical element to it. The rest of it is pretty hard sci-fi.
Yeah, just like...
The design for Batra is fantastic.
Yes. An evil version of Mothra is interesting. And the design making it more evil looking is pretty cool.
The film ends with Mothra having to go up into space to stop a meteor that's heading towards Earth, because that was originally Batra's job, but since he's dead, now Mothra's got to take care of it. And the Shobijin are like, alright, you guys clean up the Earth, we're going to go fight meteors.
Meteor Man!
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. This
is a good movie, it's just that we kind of grown a bit tired of retelling the Mothra story. Like I said, this is the third movie to have the basic plot of the original Mothra.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad that the later movies and some of the other movies that Mothra shows up in don't retell it. I mean, it's basically the equivalent of watching Batman's parents get shot in the alley for the umpteenth time.
There are so many live-action Batman movies, sequels to certain movies where that scene has happened.
It's like,
and they keep yes, they got shot! We get it!
But again, thankfully, this is the only movie, this is the last movie to retell the original story.
Mm-hmm.
So, we finally break that cycle.
The plots...
The human plot is okay.
Okay, but could have been, my opinion, could have been better. But
I do think the exes do have a good dynamic with each other.
Mm-hmm.
They play off each other pretty well. The corporate guys are just kind of there to be the corporate villains.
Mm-hmm.
They're not really all that
the corporate guy gets into a fight with his boss. Kind of just kicks his ass.
It's like, okay, fine, you can leave. I'm going to stay here. They may take it away from me, but I'm building it up again. Because I'm rich.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not fair that they're attacking me. It's like, it's totally fair. It's your fault.
Yeah.
It's like this entire...
Just give them back. Never.
This entire thing is your fault. It's not fair.
It's not fair. Not fair, you goddamn child. Oh, crap baskets. This movie, it's, like you said, it is a good movie, but we talked about it so much that we just don't care now.
Yeah, so sorry for kind of being a bit underwhelmed about this, quite frankly, really good movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But we've done it, I got about 3 times, I don't know.
technically this is the fourth because we're redoing this one, and I did the math earlier in the podcast.
Literally, Mothra going to fight meteors and Biollante technically makes Space Godzilla.
Yeah, that's just one of the theoretical things that's brought up in that movie, which came out years later, so.
Yep.
Yeah,
I really don't got much more to say.
Not me either. Again, the monster designs for Batra and the updated Mothra look pretty good.
Godzilla looked like Godzilla. It just... We're not giving this movie justice. Actually, just check it out yourselves. And
Agreed.
so, till next time, see ya.
Bye.